Podcast. We're back again. It's Friday. Thank goodness.
I think a podcast should have like just a trickle of gentle music and then a gentle intro. But nope, you're trying to scare the crap out of people.
No, I agree. It should be a trickle in. No, I'm more like a wrecking ball. Like, hello, I'm here.
Like a wrecking ball.
It's your turn to sing.
I like how you got quiet because you're like, she's gonna regret this.
Do you ever do something? Okay, one of the words that makes me laugh is like when you're a songwriter or a rapper friend and I'm releasing a banger. I'm like, I want to release a banger video today. It makes me laugh.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
No, like when a rapper releases.
How many rapper friends do you have that release songs and say it
on
like
the YouTube or on the we're releasing another banger today. And like I sometimes I'm like I should do that today at the coffee bar.
No one talks like
that. I'm going to doing a cortado. That's my favorite drink. I'm going to be like, this one's a real banger. Here you go. Cheers. Yeah. Speaking of trickling in,
you announced on Monday that it was go time. How's that going?
There's a snowstorm and go time starting on this Monday.
The snowstorm just happened
I will update people on the Monday if everything goes well. But there's a plan in place. If there's no plan, the plan is to fail. There's a plan in place. I've called in an expert, and there's going to be restrictive eating. Like, it's called a diet. So it's the first. I've never been on a diet.
We're headed back into extremes.
No, I'm not going to respond.
Okay.
But one of the funniest things happened this week in bed. And I'm still chuckling at it because, speaking of trickling in, we have discovered the sunrise alarm clock. For precious Vicky, she has her struggle is getting out of bed. And for some odd reason, sometimes you have a struggle getting into bed. Contrary more than night owl and but there I bought you one for Christmas. I thought this was a great gift.
It is.
There's
a wonderful
chirping
gift.
And so I bought you the basic version and you upgraded very quickly and you now have like an African safari waking us up and you have birds, like really nice birds. And so like I try to make up bird names to be like, oh, did you hear that purple jaded finch? But the other day, because I used to wake up in Indonesia right next to the mosque and the call of the mosque. And then there's always the rooster. So the other morning when the birds started chirping, I just let out the big rooster call. And you laughed. You didn't get mad at me.
I laughed and then I went back to sleep.
Yeah, the rooster calls like the wrecking ball, not the trickle. So this African desert light starts coming on and getting brighter, and over the course of half an hour, after the half an hour, then all of a sudden the birds start chirping, and sometimes you're going to get a rooster call. Yeah. All right, fun stuff.
I like that the light comes on automatically. I think it works really well for me.
My light doesn't seem like your light. You have the $180 light, and I got the $30 light.
I didn't pay $180.
And I believe mine just comes on, and it's white for about half an hour. And then I got the same. I got birds chirping just like yours. Mine are more like. I got $30 birds. I don't know where they got them from, but I think there was synthesizer noise.
They're great.
Mine's more like a rooftop pigeon. All right, what day is it?
The 13th.
13th. January the 13th. Friday the 13th.
No one cares.
And some people do. When we were drinking, when I was drinking, you drank a lot too. It just didn't,
trying to keep up with you.
Didn't do the same thing to you, for you, with you, in you. We were living an unnatural life. Man, that's judgmental. I'm just kidding. Physically and mentally, we were punishing our bodies by loading them with alcohol, the poison. We did not eat enough and ate. We did not eat enough and we ate the wrong things. We didn't get enough sleep or the right kind of rest. We were we were ruining ourselves physically. We had an alcoholic obsession and we couldn't imagine life without alcohol. We kept imagining all kinds of crazy things about ourselves and about other people. Just to throw that in. Nice. We were ruining ourselves mentally. Since I came into a program of action and a fellowship, am I getting better physically and mentally? Hey, meditation for today. I believe that my life is being refined like gold in a crucible. Crucible? Gold does not stay in the crucible only until it's refined. I will never despair or be despondent. I now have friends who long for me to conquer. What?
Yeah.
I now have friends who long for me to conquer. If I should err or make a mistake, it would cause pain and disappointment to them. I will keep trying to live a better life. Yeah. Man, when I look back of the
train wreck,
like just the abuse physically and like being used to it. And like I've had the mishap of relapsing in recovery for that first year. And I remember going and having some drinks and whatever else after hours at a motel. And it's like 3:00 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm so tired. And I was remembering like, man, I used to do this for 3 days easy, like no problem. And like function in society. But it's like so much poison and abuse to the body. And you're the same, living on adrenaline, living on cortisol and living in those conditions all the time. It's abusive to your body. But then we go into recovery, and even mentally, physically, and spiritually, we're being refined. And I thought that was a cool little picture of like the crucible. Have you ever seen a crucible?
No,
I mean, but like a crucible where it's being melted down.
I imagine it's. Have you ever? Did you watch the show Blown Away with Me, where they do the stained glass blowing, the glass blowing? Yeah. So I imagine that kind of fire. Like it's really hot,
and then the impurities float to the top of the gold. But the point of that is the gold not to stay there, which I think is really cool. So if you're in the flame and the heat and the fire and you're being transformed and your body spiritually, mentally, physically is being transformed, just know that it's not the game over. It's just beginning. And so you're going to be refined. The impurities are going to be removed. And then 15 years later, you're doing your first diet because you're like, I'm just putting too much good stuff in my body. Yeah. But I think that's a continued process of refinement. And I think in my personal life, I've had like years of plateau, and it seems like every 5 or 7 years of like, not like, it's like,
you need a kick in the
there's
pants.
A refinery, and then there's, and maybe it's like, maybe there's like a restoration and a healing, and it's like, there's this growth and refining, and then there's the living it out. It doesn't mean it's stagnant. It means I'm growing into it. And then another one and another one. And God just doesn't, in my experience, God just doesn't like blast me with like a fire hose of holy water and communion wafers. And I'm like, I'm pure. I'm ready to go. But there's this fire hose of holy water too much. Yeah. So I think we can all be in refinement. We can all be out of the crucible, and then we kind of, maybe, I don't know if that's my experience. So going back into the fire and situations happen, and really seeing where fear's driving part of my belief system and telling me lies and getting off the path. And that's why we need each other. That's why we need fellowship. That's why we need people that we're working with to help us. I know we get off the path and we can, but I don't want to go in the rhubarb. I don't want to live there because that's unnatural. That's not where we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting better physically and mentally? Whew. With alarm clocks that wake you up, cooking and eating properly. Yes. And a spiritual program of action. All right, prayer for today. I pray that I may always call on God's strength while the gold of my life is being refined. I pray that I may see it through with God's help. You are not alone. Have a blessed weekend. Maybe we'll see you down the road, and we'll report back in on Monday. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining.
Have a great 24. Keep the peace and be of good behavior.